This is the reading of the Mobile City Council. Please stand for our invocation, led by Reverend Leon Bell, St. Joseph Baptist Church, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you as you bless upon this city council meeting and the entire city of Mobile. We thank you, Father, that your eyes are upon the city of Mobile and your ears are open to our prayers. Thank you that you continue to preserve this city and protect it. We actually continue blessing our elected officials that they may lead this city in a way that is pleasing before you. Now, Father, we actually bless upon each family, individual, business, and government area of this city. We decree, God, that he should live and it shall prosper greatly. We thank you, Father, that your word and your work shall be performed in the city of Mobile. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd ask that we would observe a moment of silence and a moment of reflection, both for the citizens and our fellow countrymen who were impacted so dramatically by Hurricane Michael. But for the grace of our Almighty God, that could have been us. We all have a reason to be thankful. And let's do what we can to support the local charities, American Red Cross, United Way, and others who have efforts going to help them. We've been there before. We don't know when the next time for us will be, but let's offer a moment of silence for those who lost their lives, lost everything essentially, that God will continue to be with them. Thank you.
Roll call, Vice President Manzi.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Smalls.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Councilmember Gregory.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's so good to see such a crowd here for our weekly meeting. The rules of the council are, they're not simple. I say sometimes that they're simple, but they're not simple. There's serious rules in place to make certain that we have a productive meeting. Any person desiring to address the council must sign in indicating the resolution, ordinance, bill, or public hearing agenda item before entering the meeting. When addressing the council, the speaker must state his or her address. Now, we don't want your address where you work, we want your address where you live. Any person desiring to speak to the council on a non-agenda item must contact the city clerk's office no later than 2 p.m. on the Thursday prior to the council meeting. The subject he or she wishes to address must be identified and pertain to City of Mobile business. Any person who has not given proper notice to the city clerk's office will not be allowed to speak. And I'm going to be watching more closely and carefully speakers. What you've identified on your paperwork that you'd like to address before the council is what you need to limit your commentary to. If you deviate from where you signed in to speak, from the subject item that you signed in to speak, I'm going to bring that to your attention and ask that you go back to the item pertinent to City of Mobile business. If you're not able to do that, then I'm going to ask you to have your seat. And if you want to talk about that item, appropriate, notify the clerk's office so she can notify us so that we can be prepared to hear your item. All speakers are allowed 4 minutes to address the council. A bell will sound to indicate the end of 4 minutes, and that lets you have 1 minute remaining for summarizing. The second bell indicates that your time has expired. When addressing the council, there is to be no personal address to any individual council member. any individual member of the administration. All statements are to be made to the chair, which is myself, who will recognize any council member who wishes to respond. To maintain decorum, there will be no undue applause and or public outcry allowed. Thank you again for your interest in your local government. Madam City Clerk.
Approval of minutes of October 9th.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? Wonderful job. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Communications.
Vice President, go ahead. I was going to ask about the BC Rain FBLA. We'll be able to take pictures with them before they give it they leave.
Sure. We're so happy to have Mrs. Latrina Salter and the FBLA unit from the BC Rain High School in District 3. And we'd like to ask them to come forward. Let's take some pictures. And thank you for all that you do. And we know that the sky is the limit for what you all are going to do. So if you would, come on over. We're going to... Cool. And Mr. Manners, if you don't mind, you can come on this way as well, because we're going to go on with you.
Yeah, for a separate photo.
Yeah. Okay.
Come join us. Do you have anybody with you? Thank you for being here today. Come on through. No, come on.
We used to have help.
Seen all the you want y'all to get seats.
Because I'm so tall. I'm so tall, it keeps standing in front of me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right.
You got a real long dose.
Keep up the good work. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the work. Oh, I will. Okay. Amber's mom.
We used to have some help with this. We're doing the best we can.
How's she doing then?
Got your mom.
Oh, wait, we're gonna do another one.
She's got to take my dad to the doctor.
Why don't we slide around?
See if we can.
Get all one way.
Scooting around.
See, I'm so tall, let me get in the back.
I think we're trying to get away one line.
Yeah, we'll tighten up. We'll tighten up.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Are we good?
Just see you on the end.
Just turn sideways.
I think we like each other.
Oh, we're trying this one, okay.
Go ahead and sit next to you.
Nobody flash.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, that's,
Sound the light to make it so cold.
yeah, that's true.
Tell your mama still up.
It doesn't take much.
Vice President,
Yes, sir?
is it possible that we can invite Ms. Salter to the podium to speak to us about her group and the good work that they're doing in the community?
Mrs. Salter, will you come? I believe last year she had a student that was either a state president or national officer. I'm just last year.
Yes, sir.
Proud of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Latrina Salter, and I'm a career tech instructor at BC Rain High School. I've been there 7 years, and in that time, FBLA has grown tremendously. Last year, we had a state officer representing the state of Alabama and traveling to national conferences and state conferences and meetings. We excelled to outstanding chapter on our national basis with the national office. And this year, we plan to try to excel and lead out more than we did last year. We really did an outstanding job. I wanted to bring them and have them stand.
All right. Yeah,
Come
let's
up.
Yes, Ms. Salter,
And-
let them
and
introduce
introduce
yourself. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Maxwell Drain.
Tell them what year.
I'm in my senior year.
All right.
My name is Tanora Edwards. I'm in my junior. My name is Takiria Hardy, and I'm in my junior year.
My name is Brandy Trenier, and I'm president of BLA, and this is my senior year.
All right, Madam President.
My name is Sherday Lee, and I'm the historian of FBLA, and I'm in my senior year.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you for the opportunity to sit with you and see government in action.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, can you invite the public to your Veterans Day program that's coming up in November?
Yes.
We can't hear you on the microphone. Okay.
Yes, sir. Every year we have a Veterans Day program at BC Rain. It would be our sixth annual, on the 15th of November, and I'd love for you all to attend.
The
We
time.
recognize our veterans.
The time?
The time is at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Yeah.
9 o'clock.
All right. Thank you so much for y'all work in the community.
Thank you so much.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Adoption of the agenda. I'm sorry, communications from the mayor's office.
Mr. Vice President, as you know, the mayor is traveling in Israel this week, but let his greetings to be delivered to you today. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Adoption of the agenda.
So move.
Second?
It's been motioned and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Agenda is adopted.
Appeals, we have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance on October 27th on Kingsway Drive.
So move.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to determine if the structures at 2155 Bell Street, 2309 Bullen Street, 2217 Dolphin Island Parkway, 1310 Windsor Avenue, 1550 Hillendale Drive are public nuisances and ordering them demolished.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak relative to any of these houses in this public hearing? If not, the public hearings are closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Tony Torrance.
Good morning. I'm Tony Ann Camanis Torrance. I'm the Executive Director of Penelope House, 5833 Water Oak Court. Traditionally in October during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we do a proclamation. But this year, the narrative that accompanies our domestic violence awareness display is so powerful, I just wanted to actually read the narrative. We started the display in Government Plaza the first week of October, and then it went to the mall. It was at Art Walk last Friday night. Currently, it's at the Western Library. It'll be at Brown Bag in Bienville, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. And then we end its tour at the Mobile Regional Airport. So we started here and we just kind of went west. And we've gotten so much feedback at the airport, so it's not just us flying out, but people flying in that see the display. So without further ado, oh, and in your envelopes, I have a copy of this so you can have, and I also put in there some stats. On the back of it is the calendar. Thursday is actually National Purple Thursday, so wear your Purple Thursday then, but I love seeing your ribbons today. The theme is We Are Tied Together. We Are Tied Together is Penelope House's theme this October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The ill effect of domestic violence influences all aspects of our community, from within our homes to our schools to our churches and synagogues to healthcare and social services. No one race, ethnicity, religion, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, age, or gender is immune. Our quilt represents how members of our community are tied together in our efforts to end domestic violence. The quilt displays messages from those affected. You may read words of empowerment, hurt, anger, or frustration from survivors. You may read words of encouragement and facts from those who work with the victims of domestic violence. You may read children's thoughts and experiences about domestic violence. The patchwork on this quilt represents the different thoughts and emotions about domestic violence. We invite you to take a ribbon and tie into the commitment to end domestic violence. Individual community member involvement, alongside with members of law enforcement, the judicial system, and social service agencies, can positively touch the lives of domestic violence victims. Our quilt is unfinished, as domestic violence continues to exist. However, with every commitment, our ribbons tied together will help complete the tapestry to overcome domestic violence. You are now woven into the story of our quilt. We're tied together in our efforts and determination to end domestic violence. Traditionally, quilts bring comfort and peace. It is our hope that our quilt, tied together by survival, empowerment, commitment, compassion, and community, will bring peace to victims and survivors of domestic violence and their children. So if you haven't seen the display, there's time, because it is very powerful, and we've gotten a lot of reactions from this. Every year we do a different theme, but like I said, this is the one that we settled on this year. Do y'all have any questions or anything? All right, thank you much.
Thank you for all you do.
Mr. Vice President.
Yes, sir. Mr. Dave?
I would just like to commend Ms. Clemanis Tonans for all the work she does and her staff does to fill this very important need in our community. They've been at it a long time. Unfortunately, the clients keep coming. But again, thank you very much for all your work.
Lauren West.
Good morning, my name is Drew Allison. I'm standing in for Lauren West. I work at the Gulf West Maritime Museum. My address is, I just moved. It's 461 Clubhouse Drive, Fairhope, Alabama. I'm here today just to tell you all about some of the events, special programming we have coming up at the museum. First up will be this Friday at 6:30 p.m. We're showing the movie Coco. It's a children's movie, a Halloween-themed Day of the Dead movie. And that will be at 6:30 on the promenade, weather permitting. It'll be out in our amphitheater. And weather not permitting, we'll move it indoors. It's a free movie, and concessions will be available. We also have another movie coming up next month, Friday, November the 16th. That will be Goonies, and it'll be the same thing, one of my particular favorite movies. Again, that one should be at 7:30 p.m., I believe, although the time is subject to change. Please check back on our website. And concessions will be available there as well. We have our Halloween Fest coming up. And that'll be Sunday the 28th, before Halloween. And that'll be during our regular hours, 12 to 5 on Sunday. It will be $5 special admission, discounted admission. And then if you come in costume, you get in for free. So we encourage everyone to be in costume. The staff, myself, we'll all be in costume as well. And then Friday, November the 30th, although it's sold out, we do have a Polar Express pajama party coming up, and we're really looking forward to that one. There is still space available for members. Anyone who buys a membership will get free admission that evening, but that's a very popular event that we're having. And then, this Saturday, the Coast Guard Auxiliary is holding a boating safety class where you can get your V endorsement, and you do have to pay to buy tickets for that one. It's available on Eventbrite. And let's see what else. Oh, we also have a pop-up. That'll be the same day as Halloween Fest, Sunday the 28th. Something we do in conjunction with the Civic Engagement Department of the city, and they'll be having the pop-up outside in Cooper Riverside Park and also on our promenade. And then inside we'll be having Halloween Fest, and the Halloween Fest should be a lot of fun this year. We're going to have trick-or-treating for the children and several other things, I believe, either pumpkin carving or pumpkin painting. I'm not sure which one it'll be. But please check back on our website for more details. Any questions?
Any questions of Mr. Allison?
Thank you, appreciate you coming and sharing all these events with us.
Mr. Allison, what days are you open?
Yes, we are now open 6 days a week. Thank you for bringing that up. I meant to mention that. We have been since June, and we're open Tuesday through Friday at, I've got it written down here, 9 to 4, Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday noon to 5.
Okay, what's the price to come in?
Admission, well, we have different prices. Standard adult price is $16. Seniors, I believe, are $3 off at 13, and that's our youth. And we have lots of school groups coming in right now. This is peak field trip season for us, and it's really great around the museum for children, and they come in at $10 a piece, except for our Title I grant recipients, and they're coming in free of charge. But we still have some space available. If there are any teachers who are listening, most of October is booked pretty well solid, but we have space available in November and December, a little bit here and there. And we also have special events. This is, we're coming into the peak season there, but there's still a little space available in November, December there. So if you have any need for either of those, please just give us a call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jen Robinson.
My name is Janice Robinson. My address is 2725 Josephine Street. I was here almost a year ago to speak with you. The street I live on and the residents that live on that street, I'm here to speak of them also. Our street is considered what they call emergency street traffic or lane or whatever for the emergency.
It's a fire lane.
Okay. I spoke with, when I made this meeting for this, I got a phone call a day later from Jennifer White. So they finally got it in motion, what they're gonna put up. She said it was this week. This is your district, Mr. Richardson. I wish you would contact her and see. She said it was this week, but I don't know because things been taking so long. But if not, I'm gonna contact you along with her to see why is it taking so long. My next issue is, some of our streets in Mobile are ridiculous. This is not your district, but Sage, you cannot drive down that street. It's ridiculous. You actually like you're on a roller coaster road. And it is sad for this street to be like that. Also, Spring Hill Avenue, where the railroad track at right before the interstate, your tire actually go inside of the hole where the train track is. This is something that needs to be addressed. The next issue, and I'm trying not to get my 5 minutes in there. I want to know from not only you, Fred, but just the city councilman as a whole, why is it that people drive with, I want to know why they drive with their beam light, their bright lights on. And I came to the conclusion along with some other people, our street lights are just, they're too dim. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to, I don't remember growing up as a little girl remembering lights being that bright. This is something I feel as though need to be addressed and looked into. And some of you all probably experienced it yourself when you're in your vehicle. People are always driving with their high beam lights on, and that's dangerous. That's all I have. But the young man that just left here, if I'm not mistaken, did he say it costs for kids $10 to
school trips?
School kids, yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I wanted it 10, but I have 11 grandkids. So
Now, they had some free events that he mentioned, I believe,
Yeah. I'll get with you and see if you
Yeah,
have a
get
card.
with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that is my issues, and I wish you would have looked into that, Fred, especially with the Josephine issue. That's my priority.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Richardson, and then Mr. Davis.
I just want you to know that I would check with Ms.
Jennifer White?
I checked with her today.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know whether we can put speed bumps on just.
No, we can't. We didn't already address that. That's why we came up with. She'll tell you what we came up with.
I'll get with her on that. On the train track, the state of Alabama is in charge of that. So I'm asking my secretary, Deidre, I want a letter to the State Department today regarding the train track on Sage Avenue.
I'm not saying Spring Hill.
But both of them is in bad shape.
Oh, okay.
I want the one on Sage Avenue. It's the same track, and the one on Spring Hill Avenue at Smith Street. Those tracks need to be reworked. I want to get a letter. All I can do is ask them, and I will make sure that I'll get that letter into them today.
Well, then, if he don't do anything, what can we do for going further?
Call AirDOT. You have an AirDOT office on the belt line.
AirDOT?
Department of Transportation.
Okay, I didn't see that.
What's the church name over there?
Nazarene.
It's next door to Nazarene.
I know where it's at.
It's next door to Nazarene.
I know that. I'm gonna leave that.
They're in charge of the train.
Okay, I know where that's at.
Okay.
Okay, what we gonna do with the lights?
Well, your time has expired, Mrs. Robinson. Thank you for coming. Your councilman is on the job.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm on it.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay.
All right. I believe Mr. Davis had something he wanted to say relative to Sage Avenue, though.
Sage Avenue, you're not the only person that doesn't like Sage Avenue. But let me tell you, Sage Avenue, as you know, is a concrete street from Airport Boulevard North. And the problem with concrete streets is that, well, first, the city of Mobile should have never built any concrete streets in east of I-65 because everything's built on mud. And so you put a concrete street in there, and the slabs start going like this and then cracking. And the only way you can fix a concrete street is to go in there and take it all up. And once you do that, you got to redo all the drainage and everything like that. And so what you're talking about is like $500,000 a block. It's the same issue we had on Ann Street. Now, so Councilman Richardson and I have written to the Regional Planning Authority.
That's right.
Asking them to take this project on because it would be millions of dollars to fix Sage Avenue from Imogene north from Airport north to Spring Hill Avenue. And we'd sure like to have some help with it. In the meantime, I have in my capital improvement plan to repave. We've already repaved Sage Avenue from Airport south to Cottage Hill, and we're going to put asphalt over the top of it from Airport up to Imogene. Now, that is at best a temporary fix, and it'll provide some short-term relief. But optimally, what we want to do with Sage Avenue is tear the whole thing up and turn it into a 3 or 4 lane street, redo the sidewalks, redo the lights, the whole thing. But again, this is millions of dollars, but we're working on it.
And I thank you.
Now, on the street lights, when I get complaints, and I know the other council persons do, when I get a complaint about there not being enough light on the street, I contact Ms. White, and I ask her to they have these employees that go out there with these light meters and measure the light on the street, and then they decide whether an additional light is needed. And so, that's one step if you got to stretch a street you're particularly concerned about. And then when the lights burn out, you know, it depends on whether, you know, some of those lights, Alabama Power will replace, some of them city has to replace depending on the pole. But, so you know, those are both things we can do to help with the street lighting.
Well, Mr. Davis, you mentioned to me that she would.
I'm so sorry. Your time has expired. Okay. But hold on. Mr. Richardson would like to say something.
I would just like to say that it's not but about 10 lights on Josephine Street. But you need digital lights. You need the latest lights over there. I'm going to pay for them. I don't want nobody to measure nothing. Put the lights down. So I'm going to call Ms. White and find out what does it cost for 10 lights. Put them down.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Madam City Clerk?
Julie Waldrop.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Council members. My name is Julie Waldrop, and I live at 26 Oakland Avenue, Mobile, Alabama. You all have seen me here before.
Yes.
And I'm here again mostly to thank you. Thank you very much for your continued support of Mobile Ballet. As a member of the board of directors of Mobile Ballet, you have supported us through some tough times, and I'm proud to stand here today and tell you that we have come out on the other side better than ever. And a lot of that is because of our fabulous new artistic director, Cartia Garza, and we also have a new person who is working with outreach and development, Lori Smith. So we have a great team in place, and I'm going to let them tell you a little bit more. Thank you.
Nice to see you again. I would love to pass this to them. We have a new season coming up. We started this new year. I'm full-time director of the company, and we start changing the new brand, new logo, and obviously we have 3 events during the year. The first one is Ovation, which is November 8th, and what I try to do this season is to change the way I want Mobile to feel that they own a ballet company, and that will bring, obviously, we are trying to bring more tourists here and export the company as a bigger company so we can have some metropolitan cities, make it grow. So what I try to do is to use all places in Mobile as a place where the dancers can be, and you can see on your papers how I introduced the city to be part of our new website. So you will see during the season how the dancers are using different places of downtown Mobile and the city to our new promotion as a new season. So I would love to invite everybody that is here and all of you to feel that Mobile Ballet is your company, and maybe this year we can actually work together and do some extra work for the kids outreach so it's available for everybody. So if any of you in a certain time you need us to be part of your community and go and perform for them or for any other event that you feel like it, we are totally open for that, and I would love to work with the community more to bring you, be part of us.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to say.
Mr. Richardson?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Last week, we had a group in the city representing 5,000 square dancers. And I was part of the group to try to win them over to bring them to Mobile. And what I told them is that we need to pull the cover off square dancing. Most of these people in here haven't ever seen people square dancing live. They've seen hee-haw, they've seen TV square dancing. So I told them if they come to Mobile, we're going to snatch the cover off them. We want them out in the public square dancing where everybody can see them. And I feel the same way about the ballet. This is where you come downtown and watch the got to pull the cover off, baby. You need to bring that ballet to the garden to the amphitheater in the hood. So I'm asking you to consider taking the ballet to the people and not wait on the people to come to see the ballet. Take it to the people. I'm inviting you all to come to the Mackesy Dow Amphitheater in the Harvard Gardens and put the show on the road.
I promise you we will be there this year, for sure. and
I've been here a few months.
yes, but yes, yeah. This year we are planning to touch a lot of hearts with our art, and saying that's why I want to start little by little. But we will mention that we need to get in touch with you to bring it to them. So for many years in Mexico, I did it to bring art to other communities and sponsorship kids that are not able to have this. But in Mexico, we do too, to go outside and teach them dance in their community, which we go out to reach to them and to these schools. So I will be maybe reaching to all of you in a certain time during the season to see how we can work together.
And
Thank
one
you.
other thing.
Mrs. Rich?
Thank you very much. We do newsletters that we mail out to citizens electronically, and if you have flyers that you would like to get out, if you'll get them to our office, we will be sure to include them in our newsletter. Any of your events or fundraising activities, we'll be happy to run them.
Oh, that would be great. And I would love to see you all in our first which is Ovation. It's a concert of legends, and I try to do a celebration of all your great musicians like Nina Simone and Sinatra and all those. So it will be a very good night for all of you.
Can you all send us a flyer with that on it? Send us something.
Yeah, we have all there, and
Yeah,
and
we
then
need
you
it
can-
in a JPEG, so
Perfect.
we can then run it in our
Perfect. We will
newsletter.
send that to you.
Okay,
Thank you very
terrific.
much.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Wesley Young.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Wesley Young. I reside at 3058 James Street, Mobile, Alabama. Today I'm going to do something that I don't normally do, and that's read. Normally I let God speak through me, but this is so important to employees today until I did not want to make a mistake. Today I come before the council to address the situation that took place on last week. Last week, there were several department employees attended the city council meeting. As you know, there was a statement read by Attorney Wood stating that all able-bodied employees needed to return to work because we were under a state of emergency. It was also stated that there were 22 employees that called in and 10 others whom are under their posts. There are a few things that concern me about this entire situation. Since the incident, there have been 25 employees placed on administrative leave. According to Mr. Wood's last week meeting, the trash department was running 13 weeks behind schedule. So how could the administration afford to have that many employees off? Let's talk about the 22 employees that called in. There were 5 that were already scheduled to be off on vacation Tuesday. There was 19 employees that were called in that morning. Of all 29 employees that attended the meeting last week, there were 5 employees that actually worked and clocked out and attended the meeting on their own time, but had said they had been their post. Those 5 employees all returned to work as instructed, but some of those individuals were still placed on leave. This appears to be a biased treatment. The administration has purposely tried to degrade these employees that were here last week in the public eye, and when they were merely here seeking help. As all council members noted, there were some mentions of the meeting that many employees showed up, something had to be wrong. It was simply an outcry for help. Help that they were promised that they would receive months ago, but to no avail. I feel some questions need to be asked, as this administration has simply tried to save their own faces by smearing those of the hard-working employees of the trash department. If we were under a state of emergency, as Mr. Wood stated, there was proper procedures followed by the administration as far as communication this information to all employees. Non-procedures that all city emails sent out by the mayor and his staff to let everyone know the steps to be taken. That happened with Hurricane Garden a few months ago. The step was not taken this time, but why not? If it was imperative for those workers to be at work, the director was informed of the emergency. Did he notify the supervisor to inform the workers and all the department staff? It was mandatory for everyone to come to work on Tuesday. If those individuals scheduled to be off ahead of time and they work on that day, the governor declared the state of emergency, then why the individuals not informed before they left on Monday that they had to work on Tuesday. If these employees called in on Tuesday, they had to report to a supervisor, right? I said supervisor knew that that was a state of emergency when they did not approve for all those 19 employees to be on sick pay. My final question, if the same individuals had done the same exact thing but had not seen the council meeting, would this issue be of this caliber? This situation is really what the administration was caught off guard and was embarrassed and wanted to continue to cover up the treatment of these employees by receiving state of emergency statement that was read by Attorney Wood. There was nothing short of it, as well as a disguise or distraction for the truth. The employees was punished for seeking help and attempt to tell the truth. Is this what this administration is about? Is this transparency? This is completely unfair treatment for this administration, and these employees are only looking for help so they can do their job and do them with efficiency. I have been in front of this council for almost a year. Everybody on this council know what the situation was. Everybody understand how the employees was being treated. I gave you all up several months ago. That's supposed to be an investigation. There have been none. We need to have an investigation. We need to get to the bottom of this, and we need healing in this city. I'm saying this to the administration. I'm here to heal this city. If you're here to heal this city, I'm here to heal it. Some of those people that showed up last Tuesday, I didn't represent them, but I care about them because they are people and they are citizens of Mobile. So I wish the administration would consider that when you make your decision with these employees in the coming weeks, because those employees have worked 55 days in a row. They're working out there right now with 12 crews, and they're working 3 crews short each and every day. They're working Monday through Sundays, trying this city up. They are hurting, and when you hurt people, they react, and that's what you had last week. Our city is better than that. I'm going to say this and I'll say it again. We are Mobilians. We've always taken care of each other. When we had problems in this city, we came together and found solutions to those problems, and we moved forward and moved this city forward. That's why God has blessed this city. Let him continue to bless us by doing what's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Young?
Mr.
Just for, I'm sorry, Vice President. Just for clarification, you said that the city employees that was here at the meeting last week, they went back and they were still put on administration leave?
That's correct.
They all want to go back to work?
As far as all of them I know went back to work. Didn't nobody not go back. Everybody went back to work. That's my understanding.
And you said some of them had took vacation days?
Yeah, you had 5 that have his own vacation, but they still received the same letters.
So the one that was on sick, did they go back to work too?
No, all of them didn't go back to work. They was on sick leave.
They was on sick leave?
Yeah.
But how many went back to work, do you know?
I have no idea how many exactly back to work, but I know most of them did go back to work unless they was on sick pay.
But you said how many got suspended? Put on administration leave?
All of them was on administrative leave until they have a hearing with pay.
Oh, and when is the hearing, you know?
The hearing started yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Davis?
Mr. Young, as you pointed out, you've been before the council many times to discuss a number of issues, one of which is workplace conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, have you taken these workplace issues to the Mobile County? Well, first of all the folks we're talking are merit system employees.
That's correct.
So has any of this been taken to the Mobile County Personnel Board?
That's a great question. Some of these employees have taken their position through the chain of command. They have written letters, starting at the supervisor, going into the director, to the mayor's office. Those letters, we don't know what happened to them. Many letters have been sent to try to rectify this situation. You can't go to the Mobile Personnel Board unless you have a grievance. And the hearing that we're going to have, if anything should happen to those employees, then they have an opportunity to go to the Mobile County Personnel Board to have a hearing. We tried to avoid all of that by just simply sending letters requesting that these things are happening. In your package that I gave every one of you all, there was a petition, there was a statement with 35 employees that clearly stated the problem that was going on in Public Works. So if you take a look at it, you'll understand what I'm saying. We are not here to fight this administration. We have people that's running this public service, public works. It's controlled. It's just, he's out of hand. He's angry. He mistreats the employees. He disrespects the employees. We've been saying it for a whole year. He needs to be dealt with. Nobody's above the law. Nobody.
Yeah, but you know that this council has absolutely no power whatsoever to affect workplace conditions.
You may not have any power to reflect workplace conditions, but you have the power to ask questions about it.
But the proper place for redress of these workplace conditions is in the personnel board.
That may be true, but if you don't have a grievance, you can't go to the Mobile County Personnel Board. I just explained it to
But I
you.
thought that's what we've been hearing about grievances for a year now.
We haven't had grievances. What we had was letters written to the mayor's office trying to rectify the position, the situation. We haven't got any place. I tried to meet with them. We could have resolved it, but I wasn't allowed to meet. So, I mean, how are we going to resolve it? The employees are not allowed to speak. They're afraid to speak now because they know they're going to be retaliated against. That's just the truth. We can play it up all we want, but that's true. And that's wrong. Everybody has freedom of speech to tell the truth. So I'm asking, whether it's the administration or the council, to look into the matter. Let's resolve this before it get out of hand. Because it's getting to the point now where it's totally out of hand.
Vice President,
Mr. Small?
and I'm not dipping in administration affairs. I promise you I'm not. But it was brought to me throughout the weekend that a couple employees was coming to me addressing the situation. I told them that the council don't have, input on administration. If it's brought to us, we can ask questions about it. But I made a statement a couple months ago, and I'm gonna say this clearly, because I want to interpret nothing wrong about when you have a KKK, he hides behind his sheet, his robe, and to do his action. Then that's why I said I didn't call nobody name.
Right.
It was something came behind that last time. Get it clear. I said a couple months ago that the employees were hiding behind Mr. Young because they were fear of, something coming back on them. And I feel like, and again, this is CJ talking, for when I hear from the employees, and not dipping in administration matters, but I feel like there was retaliate on last week. So that's why Mr. Young is coming down here, every week, every other week, speaking on the employees of the public works because they are retaliation. They hiding behind Mr. Young. Can Mr. Young go to the personnel board? No. But can he speak on behalf of, the firemen? Yes. The police department? Yes. The public works? Yes. Council? Yes. Because it's dealing with the city of Mobile. And Mr. Young have every right to come down here and ask questions about the citizens and the operation of the city of Mobile. Thank you.
One of the problems, I know my time is up.
Mr. Young, your time, unless there are questions from the council.
Yeah, it was.
Are there any questions from Mr. Young? If not, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Woods.
So several things I want to address just for clarity. Number one, what I said was we've been running 13 weeks behind, 3 days behind, 13 weeks straight. Not that we're 13 weeks behind, so we've been consistently behind for 13 weeks. Okay? That's number one. Number two, dealing with the personnel issues, we welcome the council to look at these issues, ask the questions you need to ask. Third, Ms. Dave's made this abundantly clear. There is a process for grievances. And counter to what anybody may think, what's actually true is that the organization that Mr. Young represents can go to the personnel board and file a grievance on behalf of the employees. I think it already has. I don't know what became of that. But any of the employees that have grievances, whether it be any of the issues that got mentioned, the personnel board, the Mobile County Personnel Board,
has a process for that. I don't know how many people have taken advantage of that process, but I can tell you I've not seen most of them. And Mr. Young does have the right to come down and talk to you. But when we're dealing with the personnel issues, the Mobile County Personnel Board is the proper way to deal with, a proper platform to deal with those issues. And we welcome that as well.
Mr.
Richardson?
Mr. Chairman, I think if we look at the facts, we would see that if we go back 2 years, we probably have half the employees over there that we had 2 years ago. We can see that a lot of the employees who had developed all sorts of expertise over there, they're no longer there. They're gone. They came and told us about 3 months ago that they was running short-handed. We put on a job fair at Dumas Western Center. More than 200 people showed up to apply for public service as a public service worker. I also invited the chairman of the Mobile County Personnel Board to come, and I went over and asked her whether or not the city had notified them that they needed additional employees for them to advertise for. She said no. So here we are. We have 200 people applying for a job that's not even posted. So it seems to me that that's a setup. And I want to show you how I see it. That these employees keep on coming here and they keep on complaining and we keep on losing them. And that is sent probably half of the force home on administrative leave. Eventually, what I foresee is that the mayor gonna come before us that we can no longer pick up trash and we can no longer pick up garbage, and we have a contract on the agenda. We want you to vote, and I'm saying I'm voting no. I'm sitting out, I'm firing the first shot. If that contract come before me, the answer is no. If you need workers, hire them. We gave you a pool of workers to work. So you're not gonna keep on letting them go and mistreat them and running them off so you can privatize public works. It comes before Frederick Douglass Richardson Jr., my answer is no. It's no yesterday, it's no now, it is no tomorrow.
Any further comments from the council? I want to just address Mr. Young's statement relative to seeking and redress and some assistance from the council. Zogby allows us the ability to investigate. To the degree that we have that ability, we're going to do it. I believe we have an item that's going to be before us that we will go into executive session on relative to doing just that. And I'm happy to hear from Mr. Woods that the administration will be receptive and cooperative. Our goal is to make certain that's clear that there's a problem somewhere. It's clear. These individuals would not keep coming down here week after week after week. When I go in the grocery store, I was at a funeral the other day. It doesn't where you go. People come up to you to talk about an issue, this issue, as it relates to this department. There's an issue somewhere. We have this ability in Zogby. I don't know if it's ever been fleshed out, but we're going to put some bones and flesh on it today to see what can we do, if no more than provide more information for the administration to appropriately take care of the issues in this public works department. But it's clear, crystal clear, something's awry, something's wrong. And so we need to get to the bottom of that and help your administration get to the bottom of it, because it's been plaguing this department for too long. Any other comments? Madam City Clerk?
Cassetta Blanks Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I heard a bell. Ain't already. Ooh, Jesus. Is that okay? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mr. Cassetta Blanks Jackson. I live at 1111 Antwood Street. I'm here today concerning the sanitation workers. The council was given a letter from the sanitation workers with their names signed on it. So you have that, stating that Mr. Dees was harassing the workers. So far, nothing has been done. If he hasn't already been fired, he needs to be fired now. This government should not allow.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jackson, we can't call names.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just say, ooh. Okay.
Just stick with
this government should not allow a supervisor to harass workers. That is not allowed under the EEOC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Also, we do not want to be confirmed as a director of the public works, and y'all already know the name. We would like for you to put a search out to find someone that is not in relationship with okay. There are many people in this city who have leadership and education that can do this job. So if you hadn't fired Mr. We want him gone. We want the EEOC involved, and we want you to search for a new director of public works. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Carolyn Blanks Mays.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Carolyn Blanks Mays, 1103 Antwerp Street. I was reminded, here to talk about the sanitation workers. I was reminded about Abraham Lincoln's statement. He says, the government is of the people, for the people, and by the people. So that means that, and then Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, it should never be a government official, a certain congressman, or senator. So you all are just here to make decisions to help the government run whatever issues we have. But concerning the sanitation, it's time for that to be solved. Because I think if it's not solved, it's gonna take another thing, like almost like a fighting thing, and we don't want that to happen. And then whoever always talking about, they don't have money. Say y'all don't have money, but at the same time, I was in a meeting last week. And the county, let me say this, the county housing board accepted money that the city offered them. That's called intergovernmental relationship. The Mobile Housing had other men over it, and they accepted the money.
Mrs. Mays.
Yes.
I'm going to ask that you stick to sanitation work.
Well, this is sanitation. You're saying that there's no money, but yet the city is offering money to this other department. Then we have the penny tax. Then we have the BP money. So all this money is going to things and issues and roads and bike trails and bikes and all this kind of things. I feel like the mayor should have an emergency meeting with you all this week. That's the government that this city wants. We want a meeting. We want an emergency meeting. And we want this solved. I want y'all to get in that room, and I want you to go over all the monies and see can we solve this issue, because it can be solved. And also, I'm reminded of Dr. King the morning he was killed. And the men, they didn't have a sign on them about, I want to raise. They had on their shirts, I am a man. What was they saying? They were treated so bad that they wanted the city to know are human, and these people are human, these sanitation workers, and we want something done about it. And another thing too, really the reason nothing have been done for our sanitation workers is called outsourcing. What does that mean? That means there's a company that know about, or some of y'all know about, that wants to come in here and pick up garbage and trash, which means we will have a fee to pay as citizens. That means the people with low income won't have their garbage picked up because they have little money on it, make $9, a little money. The senior citizens, we got to be concerned about them. The senior citizens only have money to pay for their little food and their little drugs. So they wouldn't have their garbage picked up. So if you were to make a decision like that, you are not doing the community's business, you are doing your business. Some connections you got with somebody and not the people's business. You must make decisions that's concerning how our garbage be picked up on time and right. Like I told you on last week, when you incorporated Tillman's Corners and all these places, you were supposed to hire somebody else to do those areas and get a new fleet truck, 10% raise, bonus, everything that the men is asking for, and get those people gone that don't need to be there. That's what I want you all to do. The citizens of this community want mayor to have an emergency meeting before the week is out with all of y'all. You've been elected. I feel that y'all can sit down and discuss this because it has gone on long enough. It's already on national news. It's already on national news the way it's going.
Thank you. Thank you for all of y'all coming down.
CIP resolutions held over. 21714, authorized contract with James Donahue for Moore Branch Public Library HVAC replacement.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21716, authorized contract with SC Stagner Contractor for Helenwood Park Pavilion and Boardwalk reconstruction.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion?
Yes, Vice President.
Small?
Yes, for the citizens of South DIP, I have received many calls. We know that this boardwalk was destroyed by a storm, but this is going to be in the Helen Woods Park, and this is the to go ahead and reconstruct it. And I'm so happy to see this contract before the council today. Thank the administration for working hard. The citizens have been working, waiting for a long time to be done. And I did get word on last week that anticipation of the end part of this year, the first part of next year, when it's looking to be completed. And it would be a great thing for many people that like to fish and the people of South DIP. Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Small. I know this has been an initiative that you've been keenly interested in and provided a great deal of leadership on, so thank you. Madam City Clerk?
We need to vote.
Is all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
Mr. Vice President, I'm sorry, I forgot, we have two people that signed in on agenda items, and I did not call their names. Those were non-agenda item speakers. Ms. Antone, regarding Resolution 21740.
Sounds good, Ms. Antone. Good morning.
All right, I see our P money, and I had a letter saying that we was gonna get the sidewalk on
It's not, it had nothing to do with this.
Mrs. Anton,
Yes, sir.
what you are providing us commentary on has nothing to do with that agenda item.
The gym flooring.
Included, and it curves the clip money, and I don't see it on this agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Non-agenda item.
Not an agenda item.
Well, you're gonna need to talk with your council person.
We already know.
Well,
You don't understand me.
no, we don't understand.
No, it's a non-agenda item.
You already know that it's supposed to happen, where you have a whole lot of yours, and we just have one, which is not what else.
Mrs. Anton, I'm gonna ask that you get with Councilman Fred Richardson. Now, you know you're the good shepherd of District 1. You know how to reach him, but that has absolutely nothing to do with that agenda item. We're gonna have to move on to the next speaker, Ms. Anton.
Reggie Hill regarding Resolution 01745.
In the governor, the housing board.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, in the absence of our mayor to the administration, citizens and stakeholders of Mobile, good morning. Before I begin, I wanted to say it was good to see the young people from BC Rain here. I believe their advisor is a graduate.
Give us your address, Mr. Hill.
My apologies. I just feel like I'm back at home again. But Reggie Hill, 137 Center Street. Before I begin my statements, I wanted to commend the young people for participating in the government process. It's always good to see that. And their advisor, a graduate of Alabama A&M University, a true statement that you can start there and go anywhere. So it's great to see the young people engaged. Earlier this morning, the Vice President said that it is crystal clear that there are some issues and there are some problems within the city. And I wanted to speak today about 01745, and I commend the city clerk's office for the work that they do, but even when looking online, I couldn't really see any details of exactly what was going on. I clicked the link that was provided, and it only said that it had been placed on the agenda. There weren't any specifics as to what it actually meant, so that's why I rose today, to maybe get some insight on what's actually going on. It reads an approval of an intergovernmental agent with the Mobile Housing Board for assistance with administration, planning, and development to be provided by the city. And it was interesting to me because I looked at where we're seeing housing being placed in the city. We have something new being built on Water Street. We have something being constructed on the Cottage Hill area. And we also had something that was torn down in the Roger Williams area. Whereas when this place was torn down and demolished, it was then reported by the Housing Board that there was not any funding to move forward in rebuilding this area, saying that there was not even, they were not able to receive the grant that would actually replenish that area. So I'm trying to understand what exactly is the intergovernmental agreement and how is it going to be beneficial for the citizens to ensure that we are not making decisions that are going to hinder our communities from growing. We want to I've said this plenty of times, when people come to the city of Mobile, they're not going to say, oh, I had an amazing time in district whatever, and I had an awful time in district whatever. They're going to say their experience in Mobile. So we're not able to replicate what we see in one area or the next. This is hindering our community. So that would be the first question. I know that I have to ask the chair, but it's probably something that the administration has to answer. I'm not sure if they'd be able to comment on that, and I appreciate Jamie gave me a little insight today, but I'm just trying to get more details on what this actually is. And if as well, we'll have opportunity for citizens to participate in this. People who are actually engaged in these communities and knowing what can actually be more beneficial for areas that they see every single day. They're here in these communities. They know what efforts need to be made, and we should have a voice at the table. And I would like to also know if the agreement and the assistance is something dealing with fiscal representation, because I didn't see any of this in the budget. We didn't see anything that was labeled as an item that was saying we were going to put money towards any of this. And so I want to know where then would we find these resources to be able to do something to that extent if this is not something that has been submitted or approved by the council. And then I want to know what type of strategic planning is actually in place for our more underserved communities, because there's supposed to be a connection between this of a federal ran agency but has a title of a city name. I've never really understood that, how the federal government could be the one to control this entity, but it's supposed to be a representation of local endeavors. So I want to kind of get more of a census from the people who will be orchestrating this line item as to what is it going to do if we can get the details so we get access to that.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Richardson?
I believe this morning at our 9 o'clock meeting, our chairman appointed 01745 to a committee.
Okay.
Because there were questions just like what you're raising. And I believe the committee chair will announce when that meeting is going to be. And your thought that the public ought to have something to say, this is going to be a public meeting. And the public can come and say whatever they want to say and ask anything they want to ask. We don't have all the answers. That's why we're going to hold it over, and it's going to a committee where you can find out anything you want to find out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Thank you for your time and opportunity.
And again, that's been assigned to Administrative Services. Councilwoman Gregory will announce when that meet is. Hopefully, it will be an afternoon meeting, and it will be a public meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Resolutions held over 01717, authorized agreement with Republic Parking System to provide management services for on-street parking in downtown Mobile. 13718, authorized change order number 4 to the contract with Simplex Grinnell for City of Mobile Cruise Terminal Improvements Security Upgrades. 21720, authorized contract with Taylor Power Systems for emergency generator preventive maintenance and inspections, various Mobile Fire Department locations. 21721, authorized contract with Diversified Maintenance for janitorial cleaning services, Gulf Quest Maritime Museum. 31722, authorized and 723 are authorizing the mayor to apply, accept, and receive funding from the U.S. Department of Justice Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Forces Program and for funding for Transportation Alternatives Program for 3 Mile Creek Section 6 North Project through the Alabama Department of Transportation.
So moved. Second.
Well, the first
Discussion.
I would like to discuss one, too.
right on 01717, that's been assigned to committee.
Oh,
So we need
So
to
we need to take it first and then the rest.
okay. 01717, authorized agreement with Republic Parking to provide management services for on-street parking in downtown Mobile.
That's been assigned the committee. The meeting's the 22nd.
No,
So
we need
what-
to have.
Move to hold over 1 week.
Right. Motion to hold 1 week.
Is there a second?
Second.
Proper motion second, any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Laid over 1 week.
Can I discuss something in this, the ones that have been read out?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. And that's 21721, which is the contract with Diversified Maintenance Services for, I guess it's janitorial services for the Gulf West. It's recommended for a 1-year contract. It's $58,000 for the year. It comes to about $4,800 a month to do the janitorial service. And I said at pre-conference that there is an agreement that we have with the board of directors of the Gulf Quest where this type of contract should not be entered into by the city of Mobile. It goes in contrary to what was established as far as the authority and what each group was responsible for. The maintenance was clearly defined as needed to be responded by the board of directors, just like the salaries of employees. They get all ticket sales, they get all the event sales, and of course, they oversee the operations of that building day to day. It is a city-owned building, and I know this council left money for the utilities, and we know that this would come out of here, not just utilities. It basically said operations. So I respect the position of the council, but I'd like this to be called out because I would like to abstain on this particular item until the council and the city has sat down with the board of directors so that we can define what our responsibility is and Mobilians know exactly what their participation is with the Golf Quest day-to-day operations. Thank you. So that can just be read out separately.
Okay, so for resolutions 13-718, 21-720, 31-722, 31-723, we have a motion and a second with Mr. Davis and Mr. Gregory.
Is there any further discussion? If not, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Items passed.
Resolution 21-721.
So moved.
Second.
Probably motion and second. We've had some discussion. Is there any other discussion?
Yes, Vice President.
Mr. Small?
I do agree with Councilwoman Rich, and I'm going ahead and vote for this on today. But I would like to ask the administration before they place another item on our agenda, especially dealing with GovQuest, to please grant the meeting that Ms. Rich had asked for. If not, I might have to follow suit in the future. But I will support it on today. Thank you.
Mrs. Rich, any further comments? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much. Is there any legal opinion on how we should go about this because of that resolution that goes back to 2012?
The issue that I see is that the council has adopted a contract which sets the duties and responsibilities of the parties, and if we want to fund janitorial services, if we want to fund anything else that's needed, there needs to be a contract amendment, because otherwise, I don't know the authority unless it's going to be a separate contract like this, and maybe there could just be some language that says this operates to amend. I don't know that there's one right way to handle it, but there needs to be some clarification that this is intended to supplant that provision in the original contract, perhaps.
But I don't see why, even if we entered a thank you, sir. We entered in a contract with the Gulf Quest that provided that they would pay for certain things and the city would pay for certain things. But I don't see how that contract prohibits us from adopting this resolution today. I mean, clearly the contract needs to be reviewed to see what the city's going to do and what Gulf Quest is going to do. But I don't see that contract as prohibiting us from doing this, from approving this resolution today.
It looks mutually inconsistent.
I agree.
You have two contracts, one saying you will and one saying you won't. And if this is intended to be an amendment to the original contract, great. I just think that needs to be part of the motion, that it's intended to supplant that. Now, I don't have that contract in front of me, so I don't know if it applies just to a specific paragraph, but I don't think it's good legally to have two documents that say two different things.
Let's, colleagues, in light of all of this discussion, I think we probably need to lay this item over a week. We can't come to any resolution in that ensuing week. It may need to be assigned to a committee. I see exactly what Councilman Small is saying relative to further contracts until we have an understanding. So, I'd offer a motion to lay this item over a week.
Second.
Been properly motion and second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just one item. Depending on how long this lays over and depending on how long it takes the council administration to gather around a table with maybe the board members from Gulf to resolve some of these issues,
we don't want their janitorial services to be neglected because the Gulf Quest is still open. So if there is a way for us to make sure that that does not happen, we need to make that very clear and possibly get this one on the road to being passed sooner rather than later.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Richardson then Davis.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Maybe next week we can amend the original contract. We don't have the contract in front of us. We need time to look at that.
It's in here.
You know, we got one saying one thing, and one said we'd do something else, but we can amend the contract. We don't have the contract in front. So I think we need to go ahead and amend this and come back next week and see where we are with that. See, go ahead on and lay this over and come back next week and see can we work it out. We can't.
Mr. Davis?
Thank you. I'm with Councilwoman Gregory on this. I think, first of all, to amend a contract is going to require two parties to amend the contract, the parties to the contract. Secondly, I'm afraid that if we start going back to amend the contract that we have with Gulf Quest, it's going to open up a whole lot of issues that are still pending out there as to how much support the city is going to provide to Gulf Quest. All that's going to take time. In the meantime, the facility needs janitorial services.
Yes, sir. Come on.
So I think we ought. I mean, what is this? It was a $58,000 contract. It clearly states what it's for. It's been on the agenda. This is the second time it's come up. I don't think there's any effort to hide from citizens what the council's approving here. I think we ought to go ahead and approve it. I'm perfectly comfortable with entering into additional negotiations over a revised contract, but I think we need to go ahead and approve this contract for janitorial and cleaning services today.
I agree with Mr. Davis.
Is this 1 year?
It's 1 year.
Yeah, it's just 1 year. So if we could go ahead and approve this and get it done for 1 year, we can go back and take another look at it, along with everything else that we need to look at. But depriving that building of janitorial services when it's open 6 days a week, I don't think is good business sense for us or for them.
The question, Mr. Davis and Mrs. Grigg, is when does this contract start and when does this one end, the current one end? I don't think a week. Surely, this item had been put on the agenda 1 week before the contract is due to start. So the contract is not going to pick up his broom and dustpan and go home tomorrow if we don't pass this contract today. We're asking for 1 week layover.
I don't think my prediction is, I could be wrong, but my prediction is it's not going to be any more ready to vote on next week than it is today. Of the issues resolving the city's contributions and help provided to Gulf Quest. I think this opens up a can of worms that's going to take us a lot longer than a week to get through.
Well, it might be time for the can of worms to be open. There's some big worms in that can.
Vice President.
Mr. Small?
It's just a question to the attorney. If this go forth today, will we be violating the kind of way if this was to be voted on today and passed?
I cannot answer that question because
But if it is in violation, it's null and void.
here's the issue. This contract that is on the agenda is for janitorial service, I guess, for a 1-year term, and the services commence upon receiving the notice to proceed. And I assume that the notice of proceed would be issued after the council approves the contract. And I don't know whether those services are going to begin a week from here or a month from now. The other contract says that this obligation is to be funded by the Gulf Quest. I'm not saying that it's illegal. What I'm saying is that in adopting this contract, the one that's on the agenda, if you intend to say that this is an intentional exception to the other contract, just make that clear in the motion so that you don't have two contracts saying different things. Contracts the enforcement and execution of contracts is the province of the mayor. And if you have two contracts that say two different things, it creates confusion.
I'm going to ask, let's come back to this item. Madam City Clerk, if you could find out for us, when does this contract start?
I'm reading it. It starts upon the notice to proceed.
Right. It actually is dated back to July of this year for some of the general back and forth between the city and this particular company out of Birmingham. I don't know. I'm assuming they have local office space. It doesn't say, but if I could just reiterate, my goal was to abstain on this, to make a point, and to bring people to the table. That's the problem that I see going on. There is an understanding in the community and a relationship with a nonprofit group that is in a city-owned facility. We have lots of this going on that we work with and we contract with. We make people live up to those contracts. Some of them lose their contracts when they don't live up to their obligations. And this is really what we're watching happening by going silent. And I just think this is something that we do have to deal with. It's a very public facility, and it's a great facility, but Mobilians should be very well versed in what it is their responsibility is, what is this group's responsibility, and we need to move forward. And I know that we did fund money for operations, and I voted for that in the budget because it's our building. We don't want it to go into bad shape. Even though if there's something really big that goes wrong, we definitely have to take care of that. So again, there was an agreement with this group that we do a service contract with, and we expect all groups to honor them. And so if this is gonna bring it out and we start talking about it, it's time to do it. It's almost past time, actually, because we've been funding things for the last 2 years that we did not have an obligation to fund based on the understanding of what that group was going to be responsible for. So I can do my abstention. You all can do as you see fit on this particular one. But if we just keep moving this to say that it's a painful discussion or it's going to take a long time, the longer we laid it out there, the longer it's going to be till we resolve it and when we move forward in a positive manner.
There's a motion on the floor.
What is the motion?
The motion was to lay over 1 week. It's been properly motioned and seconded. We've had discussion. All in favor of laying over 1 week, let it be known by the sound of aye.
Aye.
Let's have a roll call vote, please, Madam City Clerk.
Vice President Manzi.
Aye.
Councilmember Richardson.
Aye.
Councilmember Small.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
No.
Councilmember Daves.
No.
Councilmember Rich.
Aye.
Councilmember Gregory.
No.
Okay, so the motion fails for delay over, for lack of a supermajority. So we're going to go back to the original motion. We've got a motion here to read it again for us, Madam City Clerk.
The motion from Councilmember Daves and Gregory was to proceed to authorize contract with Diversified Maintenance for janitorial cleaning services at Gulf Quest Maritime Museum.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Since our legal counsel said that possibly, and Wanda, correct me if I heard wrong, but could this particular item be amended to speak to the two contracts that you were talking about in contrary to each other? So maybe we should just amend this language?
Exactly what we were saying.
Yes, my point was that we need to be clear about what the intention is, that the council is aware of the other contract, that the council is cognizant that there may be some, just so that this is an intentional act.
So maybe I could amend the motion to, you're going to have to coach me here. amend the motion to approve 21-721, the council acknowledging that this is not consistent with the existing contract with Gulf Quest, but that we're proceeding with it anyway.
Yes, and to the extent that this contract is inconsistent with the main contract, this contract replaces any inconsistent
So
provision.
Second.
Okay. Moving along.
Now we need to vote on the amendment, correct?
Right, I'm just, so is this only going to be in effect for this 1 year? We're gonna amend the original contract.
For this one service. the
For 1 year.
janitorial Service.
Yes.
The janitorial service.
I imagine, and I can read, but I suspect that this janitorial contract is terminable at will, is correct? So it doesn't matter if the contract's for a
30
year or
days.
not, because if
30
later,
days
if you
notice.
guys come back and decide a different course of action, you won't be locked into this contract.
All right, so.
30-day
yeah.
written notice.
So that gives us some flexibility if and
Correct.
when things change, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so now we need to go and vote on as
It's
amended.
been properly motioned and second. With this amendment, all those in favor, let me know by the sound of aye.
Of the amendment.
Of
Of the amendment.
Yeah.
Let me know by sound of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The amendment.
Abstain. I'm going to abstain.
Let the 6 voting forward, 1 abstention, but I'm growing weary of these Gulf Quest items. We need to come to some conclusion. Amending this and amending that, that's not the proper way to handle the people's business. We need to come to a conclusion as it relates to Gulf Quest. We're either gonna do what we're doing and do it legally, or do it the right way, or we're not gonna do it. And I'm growing weary of these Gulf Quest items. And the whole discussion, to be honest with you, the whole discussion, it's been on the table 5 or 6 weeks. It's time for us to bring this to a head. And we need the administration to provide, along with this council, the vehicle necessary for us to come to some conclusion. Item passes.
Well, we got to go back and vote for it as amended.
Original motion as amended, Councilman Davis. All those, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
So you have 6 in favor and 1 abstention. Item passes.
Okay.
Okay, consent resolutions being introduced for the first time, 03728 through 6737.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of resolution 03728 through 60737.
Second.
Properly motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Madam City Clerk?
Are there any objections?
No, ma'am.
Okay. 03778-729, a concurrent in the appointment of Carveen Adams to the Mobile County Department of Human Resources Board and reappointing Bess Rich to the Mobile Planning Commission. 4730-3132-3334 are declaring structures nuisances and ordering them demolished. 58735, declare weeds noxious. Group 1584. 58736, assess cost for removal of weed. Lien Group 1580. 6737, approve award of special bonus to the Officer of the Month as part of the Mayor's Incentive Program.
So moved.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Items pass.
CIP resolutions being introduced for the first time, 13738 through 21742.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of resolution 13738 and 21741 and 739, 40, and 42 level for a week by council rules.
Second.
Proper motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
13738, authorized change order number 2 to the contract of SC Stagner Contracting for Lab People Stadium structural repair phase 1 to add $28,923 to the original contract. 21741, authorized contract with Leap Engineering Company for Joe Bailey Park tennis courts and walking trail drainage improvements. 21742,
No.
authorized contract.
No,
Oh,
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
Okay.
Second. I mean, so moved.
Properly motion.
Now you need a second. Second.
Is there any discussion?
No.
Not all in favor? Opposed? Well, I don't think enough people voted. If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right.
Resolutions being introduced, 21743 through 01745.
By council rules, resolution will live for 1 week.
Announcements.
Mr. Small.
Thank you, Vice President Manzi. Last Tuesday, I had an opportunity to go to Oakdale Community Action Group meeting and also the Riverside Community Action Group meeting. Both meetings was well attended, and I just encourage the residents in District 3 that if you have a CAG group in your neighborhood, please join them. All of them need help, and going to take all of us to get our community where it should be. Also, this coming Thursday, Representative Barbara Drummond and myself, we will be having the Chit Chat Town Hall Luncheon at the Mardi Gras Museum. We invited several citizens throughout the district to come out this coming Thursday from 11:30 to 1:30. And we actually had invited people from the state, the Airport Authority, to come to speak to the seniors. This is a free event, and pretty much it was RSVP, and already been filled and full. But next year we ask you to RSVP early so you can get on the list. Again, it's this coming Thursday where we having a tall meeting with the senior citizens throughout the district. And thank you, Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Mr. Daves.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I'd like to remind everybody of the District 5 community meeting, which will be held 1 week from today at 6:00 p.m. at Westminster Presbyterian Church at the corner of Airport Boulevard and Sage Avenue, the part of Sage Avenue that has been repaved. We expect to have there the mayor, Public Safety Director Barber, and Interim Public Services Director Peavy. Again, that's 1 week from today at Westminster Presbyterian Church, Sage Avenue and Airport Boulevard at 6:00 p.m. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Daves. Mrs. Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of announcements. Over the weekend, on Sunday, I was pleased to be invited to join the Cobblestone community for their annual block party. Haven't been able to go the last couple of years, but it's always a great opportunity to meet and talk with the residents out there. And they always provide a lot of food, so you don't want to miss that party if possible. But anyway, it was a great opportunity to talk with a lot of the residents, and they are very pleased with what has happened recently. We were able to repair sidewalks in the area on the city side, and then their streets had been resurfaced as part of the pay-as-you-go. So Commissioner Hudson was also there, so we were able to kind of be a team force, if you will, in talking about how the county and the city work together. So that was a really great opportunity for both of us to be out there on Sunday. This is a little bit ahead of time, but December 10th is my annual Christmas party and meeting at the Mobile Museum of Art. We are planning now for catering and for entertainment. So be watching your mailboxes. We will be sending out notifications with about 2 weeks' notice at least. And of course, we will also recognize all of our community groups, our first responders. So Director Barber will be contacting you to help us out with that. Again, it's December 10th at the Mobile Museum of Art, and of course, we will be sending out plenty of notifications in time for the event. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gregory. Mr. Williams. Mr. Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to announce that a new restaurant is opening today, Taco Mama. Taco Mama is located on O'Shea Road at Florida Street. They had a pre-opening last week. I was at the pre-opening, and it was just tremendous. People, and the food was outstanding. So I look forward to that restaurant to be just very successful. And right across from it is a simple Greek restaurant that will open by the end of the month. So they are getting it ready. It's in the shopping center where Publix is located on O'Shea Road, and then we expect, if it's not by the end of the month, shortly thereafter, Rock and Roll Sushi is going to open up next to Taco Mama. So we're going to have 3 new restaurants in that same vicinity. So get ready, Midtown is coming your way. And I would like to announce that on Thursday, the 25th, I will be holding a meeting for those people in the Aaron Park vicinity, and that meeting will be held at the Booker T. Washington Elementary School at 6 o'clock. There's a lot of new venues coming to Aaron Park. We'd like to get input from citizens about what else they would like for us to do over there, and we're asking them to come. We've sent notices out to the citizens. So meet us at the Booker T. Washington School next Thursday, the 25th, at 6 p.m.
Mrs. Rich?
Thank you very much. On Monday, the 22nd, there will be a committee meeting. I made announcement before. This is the official announcement again. The Public Service Committee will meet on the 9th floor at 1 o'clock to discuss with the utility companies their poles and infrastructure throughout our city on rights-of-way. And also, we had a contract for parking lot management. And also, there's some interest from the council to talk about the booting of cars that are in private parking lots and what the city can have any interplay with or not. And again, it's Monday, the 22nd at 1 o'clock on the 9th floor. On November 8th is, let me back up. November 6th is a council meeting, and it's also election day, of course, but we're going to do the Quilts of Valor for a recipient in police and in Mobile Fire Rescue Department, and it will be done in front of our council, which is just really a very nice occasion for those recipients. And I hope that the public will be made aware of that as well. On November 8th is the 10th anniversary for the Connie Hudson Center. It's been going strong for 10 years. There'll be a celebration out there, and they'll also award a certificate to the Volunteer of the Decade, which meant they were there almost just about every day for the last 10 years volunteering their service. And that will be announced again. That's November 8th in the afternoon. I want to say the event is from 4 to 6 p.m. out at the Senior Center. And I've put flyers in all of the council's mail slots. I hope that you'll join me in that wonderful event. On November 29th, I will be having a District 6 community meeting. It's kind of an eclectic meeting, but we've invited Mobile Police for the 2 command of the precincts that represent the district, which is precincts 2 and 4, and also our chief and our public safety director. We're also going to be talking about the Grelot Road Median Improvement Beautification project, which is going to start hopefully in our planting season, which is early winter, and that's with the Alabama Urban Forestry Association is helping my office, and there will be an MOU to come before this council and hopefully granted to move funds for those improvements to the Grelot. And also there'll be the splash pad design will be out, and also the Love Your Community, which is Commissioner Hudson's big program about taking responsibility for yourself and working on cleanup in your neighborhood or on public streets. And that will also be there with all their resources to give out. And again, that is November 29th at the Connie Hudson Senior Center at 6:30, and I look forward to everyone's attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rich, and to all my colleagues. I am just so blessed to represent such a great district as District 2. There is new and exciting things happen pretty much in every part of our district. And I want the citizens to come out and hear about it. We're having a series of community meetings. This will end with our 52nd community meeting in District 2 over the last 5 years. Thursday, this coming Thursday, I'll be meeting with the residents from the Happy Hill, Lewis Quarters, Killer Hills area of Plateau at the Grove Baptist Church at 6 o'clock. I've invited the president of the Mobile Housing Board, Mrs. Kimberly Petway, to come along with Mr. John Peavy. A lot of your concerns about Josephine Allen. City has absolutely nothing to do at this point with Josephine Allen. And we want those responsible to come out and answer relative to their course of action. On Thursday, October 23rd, all the other residents of Plateau, we're going to meet at the community center at 6 p.m. On Tuesday, October the 30th, we're going to have a community meeting at the Mount Gilead Baptist Church for those who live in the campground, the bottom area of District 2. That's your community meeting. On Tuesday, November 13th, we'll convene at the St. Joseph Baptist Church, and that's for the Maysville, down the bay, Linecoff area of the district. Meet us there on the 13th of November, and then we'll close out on Tuesday, December the 11th at the Villa Center. And so we have 5 opportunities for citizens to come and engage, but you don't have to wait until a community meeting. You can reach me at any time. I'm available on Facebook, Twitter. My number at city phone is 550-4239. I'm at the office most days that I'm able to. In other words, I'm working for you in District 2. If you have a concern, I will relay that concern to the appropriate official of the administration. That concludes my announcements, and we have, well, no, I have something I need to read. Our attorney, I'm in order, Madam Attorney, am I in order to go forward?
Yes, sir.
Our attorney has proposed a course of action on matters, the decision of which may lead to litigation. As required by the Alabama Open Meetings Act, our attorney has provided a declaration that an executive session is appropriate for such purpose. Madam City Clerk, do you have a copy of said declaration?
Yes.
Is there a motion we convene in executive session?
And not come back.
Well, no, sir, we're going to convene, and the executive session shouldn't take any longer than 45 minutes. So we're going to reconvene. We're going to reconvene after we have the executive session.
We are? We are.
Yes. At least that's the plan now. We may change in executive session.
No, if we're going
because
to,
we have
if
to let
you're going
people
to
know.
announce that you're going to reconvene, we're definitely
Well, we're
reconvening.
reconvening.
That's fine.
To take, you cannot take any action during an executive session. So that if the council will wish to take action, they can do so when they reconvene.
So leaving that option open.
Yes, but you can reconvene and motion to adjourn.
Right.
Okay, we get it.
Reconvening does not mean that you have to take action.
How much notice does we have to give for it to reconvene?
Just
Right now.
This is
Right
the
now.
meeting.
Vice President, Attorney, could we reconvene on the ninth floor in our conference room?
No.
Well, no, I've never thought about that.
Well,
The open meetings law just says, the purpose, okay, so what the Open Meeting Act requires, that when you go into executive session for any reason, before you go, you announce to the public how long you're going to be gone, so that those who want to hang around and see if something happens when you reconvene can do so. The law also allows you to announce that you're going to have an executive session, but not reconvene.
Madam Attorney, as the presider, I am allowed to make motions. Am I right?
Correct.
I make a motion, we convene an executive session for a period of 45 minutes, and we reconvene here in this auditorium.
So,
Been properly motioned and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? So we will go into executive session. We will come back in no less than 45 minutes.
Okay.
Give us
No
time
more.
to get up.
Right.
No more than,
No more than 45 minutes.
No, you did that. West Side, you know, I just got an email about that.